Hi there. My name is Paul Walton with Illuminated Meditation. Basically, that is to illuminate from within with our knowledge. And one of the projects that I've been working on has kind of circled back to what is it that we're actually actively doing or consciously doing to actually evolve the consciousness of humanity. You know, and what is it that you've done? What is it that I have done, or what can be done? And one of the questions that came up is, at the point of conception, you know, when the awareness is received as a spirit in the body, that's when, from my work, that's actually where I've seen it actually literally occur, and how welcome the child is, what the mother's state and the father's state is paramount to how welcome that child feels in this world or in this body. So a lot of healing can actually take place by simply going back to the place of, to the point of conception, actually working it. But one of the things that comes up is, well, where are the parents, and what are we doing to help the parents actually be more present and actually not only give them a basic manual that they can actually roll forward with the child. Because unless the parents, the mother and the father, are number one, accepting and welcoming the child, that's trauma right out of the gates that has to be overcome with the child. But if you take the past indoctrination, the past, everything that the parents, both the mother and the father, experienced as children in their formative years, and if it hasn't been worked, and if they haven't worked some of either the childhood trauma or disappointments, or are mirroring the communication or the lack of communication, or the intimacy or the lack of intimacy, then they're basically going to be bringing that into the child's world, and that is what is going to actually start forming the basis for that child's understanding of how to operate in the body. Because when we're in the body, first starting off, it's like the ocean. You know, it's fluid, but you're subject to what mom's emotional state is, what emotions she's feeling, and then what kind of interaction goes on between the parents. So as a parent, you know, looking back on it, and my one daughter is just about 16, the other is just about 21 now. Wouldn't it have been nice, because this is what comes up for me, wouldn't it have been nice to actually have known what was actually going on with my child? Or wouldn't it have been fantastic, or what price would you put on being able to heal your child? I think it's priceless. What would it be worth to actually understand and communicate with your child before your child's even born? So that when you're birthing the child, you can actually be with them in a more present state and actually help them through that transition and then into this world, into this body. As a parent, I remember trying to figure out, well, is it her diapers wet, or is she just hungry? But in some cases, you know, there was more to it that actually either girl was actually trying to convey. And looking back on it, it would have been nice to have had a better understanding of what it was that each of them actually needed. Not only when they were young, but also, you know, when they were going through their years of looking for their truth, or trying to find and filter out what is theirs, and then transition into adults. So instead of, you know, it's kind of interesting, instead of us actually cleaning up the past as we're growing up, or having the tools to do so, we're basically recreating the past by not clearing the past, and then creating new life with the past being dragged behind us. So the invitation is to think about it from a standpoint of, what would it be like as a grandparent to gift your children, or to gift your son or your daughter, the awareness and the tools to actually bring their children up free of a lot of the trauma, or free of a lot of the baggage that they had to witness just growing up with you and with me. Because we didn't have manuals, and it's okay to laugh about it because we all chose these experiences one way or the other. But for me, the important thing is, if the child is actually taught how to tell what is their truth from their parents, or what is their truth from their teachers, or what is their truth from whatever leaders, either be it religious, political, or societal, then I think that we have a grand chance to actually move the meter and really ramp up the consciousness instead of the unconsciousness that exists in our world, or as you could call it, to evolve humanity more so than it has been done in the past. The funny thing is, the secrets sit underneath our nose. But in a lot of cases, what happens is the circle that we create for our reality is something that we're comfortable in. And until we either have tools or that we're comfortable to step out of it, that is the reality that we stick in. And if you look back to yourself even 5 years ago and look at what reality you had created for yourself versus where you're at right now, that'll give you kind of a basic feel. But the key is, each of our children, and all of us, have gifts that we're here to share. Being able to tap into them and actually being able to share them with the world would be beautiful. But minus a lot of the indoctrination or the programming that we, on an unconscious level, are going to actually present to them. Because until we actually go in and clean up what is running in our unconscious that we absorbed as a truth because we realistically did not have the tools to discern right from wrong, our unconscious is going to be presenting itself on some level to our children, to our grandchildren, to their children, until we actually clean it up and you can actually deprogram that which is not yours, so that you can actually start programming and doing what is yours, and then embodying more of yourself. So when people feel disconnected, it's it can be from several, many things, but one of the primary things you can go right back to is what was going on when they were conceived. How welcome were they into this world? Where is the mother and the father, and where are the roles? How were they programmed? Because literally, a child is programmed to believe, how to communicate what money is, or what money really isn't, because money is really value. What is love and what's not love? So, to inch it a little bit further along, I'll be releasing the Phoenix Prenatal program that is going to be, we'll run a beta on to start off with. If there's interest, leave me a message. You can PM me. The other thing that comes up is, think about when you were a parent, or if you're a parent to be, what would be the one superpower that would be absolutely priceless to have? Would it be communication with your child on a telepathic level? And if you don't think that's possible, then don't. That's fine. That's the circle of your reality that you decide to live in. If you're very close to your spouse, or you're in a lovemaking session with your spouse and you're fairly well tuned in, you cannot tell me that that does not exist. And you can pull it out of the lovemaking, but it can exist on a with your partner, or even with your child. So that's one thing, but the other thing is to understand what is going on with them and then be able to help them. And to me, I think parents as a whole, we sit there and we'll cross our hands and put our hands in our pockets and pass the buck to somebody else. And in reality, if we're asking really good questions of not only ourselves, but of our children and even of our spouses or our friends, that is going to be the key and the catalyst that's going to actually move us that one step, which is all it really takes, that one step closer to where we actually need to be. So make it a fabulous morning, evening, or afternoon, whenever you watch this. And any input that you have as a parent, love to hear it. I know for me, that was the highlights that, that came up with me. And I think, to me, this is it's huge, because if we can start now, what we can accomplish can be amazing. And the most amazing thing is we get to witness it also. And we get to see it in our children as they're growing up. Thanks for watching.